Dixon is suing Tyler Perry, the individual, as well as his production studio.
He claims they met at the 2019 opening party for Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta.
When Tyler Perry went out to clubs and partied with friends and went and participated in the gay lifestyle like everybody else, Tyler Perry's probably been gay since he was a little kid.
TD Jakes is reportedly shook to the core after jaw-dropping details dropped about a $260 million lawsuit.
Going through those allegations in this lawsuit seeking $260 million in damages.
Aimed right at Tyler Perry. And trust, it's messy. Tyler's being hit with some serious claims involving disturbing misconduct, the kind that's already getting compared to the Diddy scandal.
The lawsuit also includes screenshots of texts Dixon says he received from Perry that included sexual advances.
And here's where things get spicy. Tyler and TD Jakes have always been tight, on stage, behind the scenes, spiritually and financially. But now, people are whispering hard, like, what did TD Jakes really know? And why is he now keeping his distance? Here's the deal. Diddy's whole mess might have just opened the door for other Hollywood secrets to come out. And it looks like Tyler Perry's name was first on that list.
Filed lawsuit accuses Tyler Perry an actor on one of the filmmaker's shows. Actor Derek Dixon has sued Perry for $260 million.
Actor Derek Dixon just dropped a $260 million bombshell lawsuit on him. Filed on June 13th in LA, court docs, snagged by People, lay it all out. Dixon says while working on Perry's shows The Oval and Ruthless, where he played a character named Dale, things started out sweet. Perry allegedly promised him big things, producing his pilot, giving him roles, setting him up for success, but it turned dark real quick. Dixon claims that when he didn't return Perry's romantic interest, things took a nasty turn. He says Perry began harassing him, creating a toxic environment, and even tried to crush his career in retaliation.
Actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry sued for $260 million over harassment.
Now, Tyler's legal team is not playing around. His lawyer, Matthew Boyd, told People that the entire lawsuit is a setup. According to him, this is someone who got close to Tyler Perry just to run a scam. Whew, this is getting heavy real fast. Tyler Perry's team isn't backing down. His lawyer fired back saying Tyler won't be bullied and that they're confident these accusations will fall apart. But the lawsuit just keeps digging deeper. According to Derek Dixon, Tyler kept texting him for months, sometimes flirtatious, sometimes acting like a mentor, promising to change his life and help him land work. Things seemed to be picking up when, in November 2019, Dixon landed a small role on Ruthless. But that wasn't the end of it. Dixon claims that in January 2020, Perry allegedly assaulted him at his own home. And strangely enough, just a month later, Perry offered him a regular role on The Oval. But what really messed with Dixon's head was the script. He says the storyline left his character's future totally up in the air. The lawsuit says Perry allegedly warned him that if he didn't flirt back or play along, his character could be gone. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. At the end of his first season, his character Dale was shot 4 times in the chest. Dixon believes this was Perry's way of flexing control over him, like sending a message that Dale could survive if Dixon kept Tyler happy. Then it gets even darker. After filming that scene, Dixon says Perry invited him into his trailer. That's where, according to Dixon, Perry pinned him against the wall and groped him aggressively. That moment, he says, was a turning point, and the pattern didn't stop there. Dixon alleges a similar situation went down in October 2020 during a cast trip to the Bahamas. Same type of incident, same unwanted contact. By December that year, he says his body was shutting down from the stress. A doctor allegedly told him he had signs of serious trauma, trouble sleeping, stomach pain, and extremely low cortisol levels, possibly caused by the constant harassment and emotional pressure he was under. This story just keeps getting more intense by the second. The lawsuit takes another wild turn. Dixon says after all the stress, a doctor ended up putting him on Zoloft, a med commonly used for anxiety and depression. But it didn't stop there. In June 2021, Perry allegedly invited him over again, this time claiming he wanted to talk business about Dixon's pilot, Losing It, a project Perry had previously shown interest in producing. But according to Dixon, The visit turned into yet another unwanted situation.
Dixon says Perry visited him at Perry's Atlanta home in January of 2020.
Dixon says the months that followed were brutal. He claims he sank into deep depression, suffered constant anxiety, had nonstop stomach pain and nausea, like his body was breaking down. He was eventually diagnosed with PTSD. And while he was trying to recover, people from Perry's camp, labeled as fixers in the legal docs, allegedly tried to sweep it all under the rug. They dangled a raise in front of him to stay on the oval. They also promised Perry would go ahead and produce Losing It. But in January 2023, Dixon says he had enough. He told Perry he was packing up and moving to California to create some distance. He stuck around for a little longer, finishing out part of the final season. But then he walked away. That decision, he claims, cost him nearly $400,000 in potential earnings. Now Dixon isn't just making noise, he's going all in. He's hitting Perry with a major lawsuit, stacking up serious allegations, and demanding a full-blown jury trial. He wants $260 million in damages. So where does TD Jakes fit into all of this? And why is he looking so rattled? Well, here's where the church crowd and Hollywood world collide. Tyler Perry's been a very visible supporter of Bishop T.D. Jakes.
I pray the power of God all over you. I pray his favor. I pray the blood of Jesus.
They've shared the stage, appeared publicly together, and there's even financial backing between them. And it's not just Tyler. T.D. Jakes has long-standing ties to other major names like Diddy. With fans online digging through every clip and connection, suspicions are growing louder. One moment really caught people off guard. During a service at the Potter's house, instead of sitting like a regular guest, Tyler Perry walked up on stage and laid hands on Bishop Jakes himself, the man usually leading the whole congregation. That move raised a lot of eyebrows, and now folks are wondering what's really been going on behind the scenes. Tyler Perry's close ties to Bishop T.D. Jakes are getting real attention now, and not in the good way. Jakes, one of the most powerful voices in the church world, has deep connections, not just with Perry, but also with other high-profile names like Diddy. For a while, people have been side-eyeing Perry's rise and wondering if there's more to the story. But things really got people talking after one strange moment at the Potter's house. Instead of just sitting in the crowd like a normal guest, Perry marched up to the stage and laid hands on Bishop Jakes. That's something that almost never happens, especially not to someone as respected and established as Jakes. It was shocking, like someone remixing a gospel classic that no one thought could be touched. And then came the $1 million move, literally. Right after that moment, Perry donated a cool $1 million to the church. Some people praised him for his generosity and said it was a powerful act of faith, but not everyone was buying it. Critics online started asking real questions. Was it just a big-hearted gift or a strategic move to keep certain people close? Singer Jaguar Wright wasn't quiet about it either. She didn't believe Jakes' claim that he caught the Holy Spirit from Perry. In fact, she and others saw the donation as a serious red flag, like something else was happening behind the curtain. The mix of church, celebrity status, and major money got the internet buzzing. Some folks were intrigued, others straight up suspicious. And right in the middle of all this, Perry got extra bold with his words. He said, "See, they don't understand where I come from. They don't understand it in Hollywood. But I'm gonna tell you something about the blood of Jesus." The church crowd clapped, but Hollywood folks were left scratching their heads. Meanwhile, T.D. Jakes is facing heat too. His name popped up in a lawsuit involving music producer Diddy. The lawsuit claims that Jakes was being looked at as someone who could help clean up Diddy's image, especially after the feds raided Diddy's homes in L.A. and Miami during that ongoing investigation.
Just man like himself be at a party, which ain't nothing but sin that's going on, bro. Whether it's drinking, maybe fornicating, maybe.
It's looking less like random chaos and more like a pattern that's finally coming to light. Back in early 2024, things got even messier when music producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones dropped a bombshell lawsuit accusing Diddy and his team of being involved in some serious secret activities. But that's not all. Jones claimed he had receipts, including proof that Diddy planned to use his connection with Bishop T.D. Jakes to clean up the damage from Cassie Ventura's explosive lawsuit. By December 2023, social media was already heating up with wild rumors. Unverified claims were flying. saying Jakes had been spotted at certain private parties tied to Diddy, ones people online were calling flat out inappropriate. And on Christmas Eve, right in the middle of service at the Potter's house, Jakes decided to speak out. He said, "The worst that could happen if everything was true, all I got to do is repent. Sincerely, the blood would fix it, but I ain't got to repent about this." But that statement only added more fuel. A YouTube channel called Tough News TV jumped in, and its host Jermaine McKinley dropped more drama into the mix. He said he got an anonymous email that claimed Cassie Ventura, who had already sued and quietly settled with Diddy, was actually working with the FBI. That claim alone got people talking, but with Jakes' name dragged into it too, it took things to another level. And then came the email that set the internet on fire. It read, "I want to put you up on game about the real nature of Diddy and Bishop Jakes' relationship. But first, understand, Bishop Jakes is not of God. He's a Freemason. Diddy was too, and I say was because it seems he's lost his protection, his power, and his privileges. But his soul, still spoken for by the devil, he can't escape that." The email ended with a chilling claim. Diddy and Jakes had been masking the true nature of their connection for years. And if even a piece of it is true, it means what's happening now is just the tip of the iceberg. Whatever the truth is, one thing's clear. This story is getting deeper, darker, and way more twisted than anyone expected. That anonymous email took things way back, dropping a bomb that dates all the way to June 1983. It claims that Kim Porter once said, Bishop T.D. Jakes was accused of being involved with the young man shortly after he got married. But just like that, the whole thing allegedly got swept under the rug.
Started. I've carried many recorder devices on me, keychains, pen.
Then in 1999, it gets even weirder. Another man reportedly stepped up, threatening to expose Jakes. But before anything could go down, that man mysteriously vanished. One local pastor supposedly claimed the guy was paid off to keep quiet. But here's the chilling part. 2 years later, that same man was found dead, shot in the head, at Emmanuel Temple of Faith in Jakes' hometown, Smithers, West Virginia. Whispers around town have been going strong for years, suggesting Jakes might have had secret relationships with men. Some even claim an older pastor from the area was part of it all. And it doesn't stop there. YouTuber Jermaine McKinley kept the spotlight burning, saying Cassie Ventura didn't just settle with Diddy. She allegedly handed over some explosive evidence to investigators. This reportedly included Kim Porter's hidden phone and a USB loaded with party footage from Diddy's most infamous events. According to McKinley, Bishop Jakes was allegedly spotted at one of those wild parties. And it didn't end with just being there. He claims Jakes slept with multiple men at that same event. It gets even crazier. McKinley says there are male escorts ready to come forward. One young man is allegedly preparing to file a lawsuit against Jakes, saying things happened when he was just 16 years old. That's the kind of claim that could shake every room Jakes walks into. Meanwhile, Tyler Perry's name keeps coming up too. While some fans celebrate his grind and success in Hollywood, others are starting to question how he got there. One major rumor goes back to 2014, when Perry allegedly had ties to a man named Joshua Soule, who used to work for him. Things escalated in October 2013, when something serious reportedly happened at Perry's Atlanta studio. Whatever went down, it led to Perry filing for a restraining order against Soule. The court kept the exact details sealed tight, but that only made the gossip spread louder. And ever since, folks have been wondering what secrets still haven't come out. The situation between Tyler Perry and his former employee, Joshua Soule, was way more chaotic than folks originally thought. What started as just an HR issue blew up into full-blown drama. Perry claimed Soule wasn't just some disgruntled ex-worker. He said Soule barricaded himself inside a studio office, triggering a whole building evacuation. The story gets wild. Perry says Soule disabled the alarms and security systems, then climbed in through the ceiling panels like it was a movie scene. A full police response followed, and officers reportedly spent 4 hours trying to get Soule out. Eventually, Saul was arrested and charged with criminal trespassing, but Perry wasn't done yet. He hit Saul with a lawsuit, asking for a restraining order, $100,000 for harassment, another $25,000 in legal fees, and even demanded that Saul be ordered to get counseling. That's when the rumors started flying. Word on the street was that Perry and Saul had been romantically involved, and Perry was trying to cut ties, but Saul wasn't letting go quietly. Saul's legal team clapped back hard. They denied everything, saying Saul never stalked anyone, never broke in, and that he was being falsely accused. Then came a massive twist. On May 13th, Saul flipped the script and filed a $10 million lawsuit against Tyler Perry Studios, and a supervisor named Brett Hendricks. In the suit, Saul claimed he was sexually harassed while working as a production assistant starting in August 2014. He accused Supervisor Brett of crossing serious lines, calling him baby, offering him drugs in exchange for favors, and saying things like, "I miss you." Saul said when he tried to report this to Perry, nothing happened. Instead, he claimed the mistreatment only got worse. Saul also said Perry publicly damaged his name, pointing to a Facebook post where Perry allegedly called him mentally disturbed. The lawsuit accused Perry and his team of creating a hostile work environment, retaliation, emotional distress, and even battery. Saul demanded $10 million in damages. And here's the craziest part. The Boondocks once aired an episode that fans now believe hinted at all this drama way before it hit the headlines. The animated show took aim at a character who looked and acted a lot like Tyler Perry. And now, people are looking back thinking maybe they were onto something the whole time. That Boondocks episode shook the table so hard that word started spreading fast. People claimed Tyler Perry tried to fire staff over it and was gearing up to sue the show. Though Perry later denied all that, the episode mysteriously disappeared. And the silence just made folks even more suspicious. The whispers got louder. Was Perry out here trying to shut people up with lawsuits, pressure, or even hush money? Now that more details are surfacing, fans are starting to piece together things they overlooked for years. And when people look back, that Spike Lee moment stands out too. When Lee publicly criticized Perry's work, Perry responded by saying, "Just like the Spike Lee situation, I feel that no response is the best response. I'm just gonna leave it at that." But now, with fresh allegations and testimony coming from different corners of Hollywood, people are revisiting everything. One thing that's been simmering in the background for a long time, the belief held by many fans and insiders that Tyler Perry might be gay. They point to his behavior, his roles, and how he was portrayed in certain shows as clues. But even with all that speculation, the conversation has always stayed quiet until now. And let's not forget who's been by Perry's side through a lot of this. Bishop T.D. Jakes. The fact that Jakes has such a tight bond with Perry is raising serious eyebrows. Folks are starting to ask, what's really happening behind closed doors? Nothing's been confirmed, but the vibes are off, and people are talking. It gets more intense when you add Diddy into the mix. T.D. Jakes has reportedly been spotted at Diddy's wild parties multiple times. He's even mentioned in Lil Rod's lawsuit, the one that's already naming big celebrities and exposing connections people didn't expect. Jakes' friendship with Diddy is also well documented. He even officiated Kim Porter's funeral, showing how deep that bond really runs. But now fans are side-eyeing all of it. The question everyone's asking is, why would a respected church leader like Bishop T.D. Jakes be showing up at those kinds of parties? Even Diddy's former bodyguard came out with his own comments, and he's not holding back. Diddy's ex-bodyguard didn't hold back. He straight up said the only reason T.D. Jakes would be at one of those parties is if he was involved in the same wild stuff that goes down there. And now, everyone's asking the same question. What's really going on behind those closed doors?
And why would a religious man like himself be at a party which ain't nothing but sin that's going on, bro? Where there's drinking, maybe fornicating.
Then comes Jaguar Wright jumping in with her own bold claims. She said that Diddy's parties always come down to two things, money or sex. So if T.D. Jakes is showing up to those events, she says, he's there for one of those two reasons. Period. That right there lit up the internet. The heat really turned up on December 21st, 2023. That's when a viral TikTok dropped, and it came with some jaw-dropping allegations about Bishop T.D. Jakes. The timing couldn't have been more intense right after Cassie quietly settled her lawsuit with Diddy. That's when a TikToker came forward with some major tea and it spread fast. According to this online tip, Cassie didn't just walk away with a check. She allegedly handed over key evidence to the FBI. That includes tapes from Diddy's notorious parties and even Kim Porter's secret phone. One clip, according to the video, allegedly shows someone confessing that Cassie had tapes revealing T.D. Jakes and other powerful names caught up in some crazy behavior at those wild parties. Word on the street is those events weren't just celebrity get-togethers. They were full-on hookup scenes with multiple men involved, and some of the situations were reportedly out of control. Now folks are dying to know, what exactly is on those tapes and how deep does this go? And just when people thought it couldn't get darker, more old rumors started resurfacing. Allegedly, Kim Porter once told someone that T.D. Jakes was accused of messing around with a young guy just a year after getting married. But somehow that got buried. Then, in 1999, another man tried to call him out, but he mysteriously vanished. One pastor even spilled that the man had been paid off to keep quiet. But 2 years later, that same man was found dead, gunshot wound to the head. No names ever came out, but the whispers say it happened at Emmanuel Temple of Faith in Smithers, West Virginia. And now those rumors are back in full force. Word around Bishop T.D. Jakes' hometown has been buzzing for years. Folks claiming he's been living on the down low and keeping secrets from the spotlight. And now, with him being spotted at Diddy's infamous invite-only parties, the streets are talking even louder. Some even say an older pastor allegedly groomed Jakes when he was younger. And it's that history that makes his presence at these wild events even more suspicious. Insiders claim that when Jakes shows up to those exclusive gatherings, he's not just there quietly observing. Rumor is he's back there sipping drinks and puffing cigars in one of the most private corners of the house, reserved for only the most trusted guests. But just because it's behind closed doors doesn't mean eyes aren't on him. One detail that's been raising eyebrows, his wife's never there, never seen, never mentioned. Whispers say she knows what's really going down and has even questioned why she's never invited. Some claim it's no accident and that she's been kept out of the picture on purpose. Now let's be clear, none of this is confirmed. These are all rumors flooding social media, backed by zero solid evidence. But that hasn't stopped the internet from going off. The comment sections are exploding. One person wrote, "No matter who you are or pretend to be, what's done in the dark always comes to light." Another added, "Hollywood, swinging. What goes up must come down." And then comes the psychic twist. Yup, a TikTok psychic claims she saw all this coming 2 years ago. She went on a wild rant saying Jakes was allegedly tied to some dark stuff. According to her, he's a Freemason who took oaths to serve the dark side, and she accused him of using his spiritual gifts to manipulate people mentally and emotionally. She even claimed that Jakes would be caught in one of the biggest scandals to ever hit the church world, centered around his secret preferences.
The Lord said that Bishop T.D. Jakes will have one of the biggest scandals of all time in the Christian church.
As wild as it sounds, her followers now say she might have been on to something. Though no hard proof has surfaced yet, Jakes is no stranger to scandal. Rewind to 2009, his own son, Jermaine Jakes, made headlines after getting caught up in a shady situation at a public park in Dallas. That incident caused a media frenzy. And now, with all these new claims swirling, the pressure's building once again. And just when you thought the scandals were slowing down, boom, more drama popped off just last year. This time it involved Bishop T.D. Jakes' own family. His daughter's estranged husband was accused of some very serious misconduct involving their adopted daughter. That situation had people completely stunned and questioning everything. Now the streets are asking, can T.D. Jakes still be seen as a true man of God? Even Gene Deal, Diddy's former security, spoke out, saying he can't respect Jakes as a spiritual leader when his own house isn't in order.
I take him serious. That's not my type of pastor. You know, you got to look at a person's household, and if your household is not in order, you understand, how you gonna help somebody else get their house?
That hit hard. And it's not just him. Regular folks like Nell are voicing their heartbreak too. She said she's been let down before by people she looked up to, so she wouldn't be shocked if some of these rumors about Jakes turned out to be true, especially when you line it all up with everything that's come out about Diddy and the crowd Jakes has been spotted with.
I had to say, Unfortunately, I don't put nothing past nobody no more.
There you go.
I just can't get shocked no more.
Yep.
I've been so disappointed in the people that I've looked up to.
Let's be real. When someone this connected is constantly wrapped in controversy, people have every reason to start questioning their morals and motives. Just look at Lil Rod's massive lawsuit against Diddy. It opened up a whole new wave of doubt around anyone even loosely connected to him. So now, the million-dollar question is, who's really who behind the scenes? If you made it this far, drop a comment and let us know what you think. Do you believe TD Jakes is innocent, or is this just the beginning of something even bigger? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to see it. We're dropping more heat real soon, so make sure you're tapped in. See you on the next one.
It doesn't mean I am breaking down, but I couldn't figure out how to separate it, because generally speaking, I was being hired to be slivers of myself. Everything just feels personal, and you feel naked and completely vulnerable and humiliated.
For Tyler Perry to admit he did start a rumor that I was difficult to work with.
Gabrielle Union was never known for causing drama or burning bridges, but 13 years ago, she made a bold move. She dipped out from one of the biggest powerhouses in Black Hollywood and never looked back. Now, after staying quiet for over a decade, Gabrielle's finally spilling the truth, and it's way deeper than low paychecks. What she witnessed behind closed doors left her shaken and furious.
Step up and question more. And it was in the questioning amongst greatness that I was like, this feels great. I feel like I did something here.
It wasn't just about her. It was about how the women around her were being treated. She tried to speak out. She tried to stand up. But in Tyler Perry's empire and under Oprah Winfrey's massive influence, being real like that, it comes with a price. And Gabrielle paid it in full.
Never settle for anything less than what I want and what I deserve.
This wasn't some messy public fight or tabloid feud. Nope, it was way more strategic, quiet, icy, the kind of Hollywood fallout nobody wants to admit happens. Because out there, keeping your mouth shut isn't just about playing nice, it's a survival tactic. And Gabrielle, she chose not to play that game anymore. The last time she showed up in a Tyler Perry movie was way back in 2012. Since then, nothing. No cameos, no guest spots, not even a quick walk-on in his billion-dollar Atlanta studio. For someone who used to be right in the mix, her absence is loud. And now, after 13 long years, Gabrielle is finally breaking the silence. She's laying it all out.
You stand up for nothing, you'll fall for everything.
And where it all started might not shock you. Like most Hollywood stories, it began with money, or more like how little of it was being handed out. Gabrielle Union isn't staying quiet anymore, and she's making that crystal clear. She's now one of the loudest voices in Black Hollywood when it comes to unfair pay. And at the 2025 American Black Film Festival during Allie's Sisterhood and Savings panel, she let loose. She didn't sugarcoat it. Gabrielle shared how her team used to say, "No, that's a great number for you." And then it hit her. For me? Compared to who? Compared to what? That little phrase stopped sounding friendly and started sounding shady real fast. Behind the scenes, something powerful was brewing. Gabrielle linked up with her trusted crew, Regina Hall, Nia Long, and Regina King. And they weren't just catching up, they were comparing contracts. Who was getting paid what? Who was being lowballed? Who was getting pushed out while someone else got bumped up? This wasn't about landing just any gig anymore. It was about protecting their worth, their legacy, and demanding real economic justice. Gabrielle even recalled a moment that made her blood boil. While working on a major project, she found out the second lead was making more than her.
You know, I put in the same hours as most men, and if not more, and I deserve to get paid the same. Equal pay, equal work, and that's how it should be.
That moment wasn't rare either. In Black Hollywood, it was way too normal. Powerful women constantly getting sidelined, even when they were the stars of the show. But Gabrielle and her circle didn't just vent about it, they took action. They got organized, they laid down the rules, they even turned down roles. Everyone had their strategy and they stuck to it. And guess what? It worked. Studios had no choice but to crawl back to the table. And yes, number one finally got the paycheck she deserved. But that victory came at a price, especially in Tyler Perry's world, where silence is golden and control is everything. Still, Gabrielle didn't back down. She started speaking out even more, breaking open the secrets behind contracts and calling out shady deal structures out loud. Gabrielle Union became the one everyone called when things got shady. Young actresses started reaching out when those sketchy contracts landed on their desks, and she schooled them how to push back, how to say no, how to walk away with their dignity intact. But every time she helped another woman get stronger, Gabrielle found herself drifting farther away from Hollywood's power players, especially the ones who had their names on the buildings. This wasn't some messy beef or Hollywood catfight. It ran way deeper than that. Gabrielle wasn't just stepping away from Tyler Perry. She was walking out on a whole system that only showed her love when she stayed quiet and played nice. And the second she stopped playing by their rules, boom, she stepped straight into something way darker, that hidden blacklist no one wants to admit exists. In Hollywood, asking the wrong questions can cost you everything. She wasn't alone either. Across the industry, black actresses were getting quietly punished for knowing their worth, and Gabrielle's voice, it was getting louder and scarier to the ones in control. She said it best herself, the fake support disappears fast when you stop accepting crumbs. The minute you set boundaries or say, I'm not working for less than I deserve, suddenly you're not inspiring anymore. Now you're difficult. And in Tyler Perry's inner circle, that label don't come off easy. Gabrielle wasn't imagining it. The whispers got real. Roles vanished without warning. Writers dropped overnight for asking about union rights. She'd seen it happen. House of Pain writers, gone. Meet the Browns crew, replaced. And it was always the same pattern. In her world, the message was loud and clear. Speak up, yeah, and you might be next. And standing in the middle of it all, Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey, billionaires with public platforms all about empowerment. But behind the scenes, Gabrielle started to see the cracks. That support they preached, it seemed to vanish the moment you stopped staying silent. Everything shifted the moment Gabrielle Union started speaking up. When she stayed quiet, the support was there. But the second she asked real questions, it disappeared, fast. She never had to call Tyler Perry or Oprah monsters. She didn't need to. The pattern said it all loud and clear. They knew the rules of the game, and they weren't trying to break them. While Hollywood showered Perry with praise for building a studio and hiring black talent, Gabrielle was looking deeper. Her question was simple but sharp. At what cost? And more importantly, who gets left behind? Gabrielle wasn't just talking about herself when she opened up about pay gaps and being pushed to the sidelines. She was throwing up warning signs for everyone. And by 2024, it was clear she wasn't the only one watching the system fall apart from the inside. That's when actor Christian Keys dropped a bombshell out of nowhere.
He showed up to my apartment and offered me $100,000 to take my clothes off. He said, I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you.
He wasn't a newbie. Keys was respected, an actor, writer, and the co-creator of All the Queen's Men, a hit BET Plus show produced by none other than Tyler Perry Studios. And even though he never dropped names directly, his story had people putting the puzzle together real quick. He described being targeted by a billionaire filmmaker. He talked about secret cash offers, recorded convos, and hush money deals hitting 6 figures. Keys claimed he had receipts, actual tapes. He even said he'd been followed, and he hinted loudly that the abuse wasn't just personal, it was built into the system, calculated, cold.
Sell my soul or my... Excuse my French, y'all. I know some of y'all, hopefully y'all don't have no kids around, but I didn't sell nothing for success.
And every sign pointed to one man, Tyler Perry. Keys never said it outright, but maybe he didn't have to. The internet caught on instantly. Then came another twist. Just days after Keys' video exploded online, a TikTok clip from actor Brandon JJ popped up, and it only added more heat.
Mr. Perry comes in, everything changes. So we literally run the entire episode for him, and he hates it. Does that mean I have to learn a whole new script? Yes, that's what it means.
Jay's story was different, but the vibe, way too familiar. He said he auditioned to play a regular high school kid, just a simple role, a bullied teen. But on shoot day, everything flipped. Perry allegedly changed the entire storyline on the spot, without telling him. Suddenly, Jay's character was rewritten as a gay teen with a crush on his bully. No heads up, no prep, no chance to process. And when Jay tried to speak up, he was told point blank, adapt or leave.
The director is kind of standing on the side like, you better do it, because if not, they will fire you.
No warning, no consent, just pressure to fall in line or get out. That wasn't direction, that was straight up coercion. This wasn't just about inappropriate changes, it was about power. The kind of control that can flip the script in a second. The kind of pressure that turns a job into a threat. And Gabrielle Union had been warning us about this for years. Now, the proof was pouring out in the open. People started wondering if Perry could do that in front of cameras, what was really going on behind the scenes. Gabrielle didn't need to speak on the Christian Keys situation. She stayed quiet. But the message, it was already out there. The industry was finally starting to catch up to what she'd been signaling all along. Hollywood doesn't protect the ones who need it. It protects the ones who run it. And Gabrielle, she was done playing nice in that game. She had spent years watching her peers get torn down, underpaid, recast, rewritten, or just straight up tossed aside. But when she saw how far the machine would go to silence women who didn't fall in line, that's when everything shifted for her. It wasn't just about stepping back from Tyler Perry. It was about walking away for good. And her breaking point wasn't some explosive argument or viral moment. It was the slow, steady grind, the subtle shade, the blatant unfairness, the freezing cold reactions when she dared to speak her truth. That's what pushed her out for good. And she wasn't the only one feeling that chill. Tiffany Haddish knew the silence too. At one point, she and Tyler Perry were tight, like public tight. She hosted his dinners, popped up at his parties, moved in all the same Hollywood circles. But when Haddish got hit with a messy lawsuit, a case that was later tossed out and proven baseless, guess what happened? Everyone vanished.
Everything. All my gigs gone.
Really?
Everything gone.
His face, you know?
I don't know, bro.
Especially Perry. Not a single person from Tyler Perry's studio stepped up to defend her. No public words of support. Nothing. Even after she was cleared. Gabrielle took note. She saw exactly how those so-called powerful friends move when things get messy. The silence, loud, the loyalty, fake. And Perry wasn't just icing out women. Behind the scenes, he was doing the same to the very writers who helped build his empire. Remember when 4 writers from House of Pain got fired just for asking for union contracts? Yeah, that was Tyler Perry. And when the Writers Guild of America called him out for unfair labor practices, did he apologize? Nope. Did he try to work things out? Not even close. Instead, Perry doubled down and made a big, bold announcement. He would write every single episode of every show, all by himself. Some folks clapped like it was genius, but to people like Gabrielle Union, it didn't scream brilliance, it screamed control. It looked like fear of giving up credit, fear of being challenged, and most of all, fear of having to pay people what they actually deserve. Gabrielle had been paying attention. She'd watched studios hand out checks, and the pay scale wasn't just random. Black women were getting the short end, again and again. White women, black men, they were getting more, and they were getting it faster. She saw what happened to Monique, too, punished for simply asking to be paid for her time promoting a film. Labeled difficult for wanting fair treatment, Gabrielle wasn't shocked. She'd seen the pattern too many times. She was just over it. Because every time she opened her mouth, someone would lean in and say, "That's a great number for you." And she finally understood what that meant. It meant, be grateful you're even allowed in the room. But Gabrielle, she wasn't begging anymore. She was building her own damn table. Tyler Perry might have been the first to let Gabrielle down, but he definitely wasn't the only one. Right next to him stood someone she once looked up to, a woman who built her legacy on kindness, on lifting others up, on giving the voiceless a platform, Oprah Winfrey. Gabrielle had admired her. She believed in that message of sisterhood and support. So when things got messy, she looked around, hoping Oprah would speak out, offer backup, say something. But Oprah, nowhere to be found. Her silence didn't feel like neutrality. It felt intentional. Gabrielle started to see it for what it really was. Oprah's silence wasn't just quiet, it was calculated. Gabrielle Union wasn't the only one peeping the silence or feeling the sting. Monique had already been sounding the alarm years before anyone else caught on. Once celebrated by Oprah herself, Monique's fall from grace started in 2009, right after Precious blew up. She gave a powerhouse performance, took home an Oscar, and then got hit with the difficult label. Why? Because she refused to do unpaid international press she was never contracted to do. She stuck to her agreement, kept it professional, and made it crystal clear she wasn't going to work for free. And just like that, everything flipped. Behind the scenes, Monique says Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels teamed up to shut her out of the game. She claims Perry straight up lied to executives, calling her problematic and refusing to correct it, even after admitting in private that it was a lie. Monique didn't just lose gigs, she lost over a decade of her career. According to her, she was pulling in $2 to $3 million a year before the fallout. That adds up to tens of millions gone, all based on a lie Perry admitted behind closed doors but never owned up to publicly.
Do you know, Shannon, that's cost my family tens of millions of dollars?
But for Monique, the worst betrayal wasn't the money, it was personal. She says Oprah invited her estranged parents onto her show after Monique had confided in her privately about the trauma and pain tied to that relationship. That move, it cut deep. She called it the ultimate betrayal. And when Oprah finally spoke on it, she didn't take real accountability. On a group panel, she gave what Monique described as a weak, vague apology, saying, "If I've done anything wrong, I apologize." To Monique, that wasn't an apology. It was a dodge, a way to look remorseful without owning a thing. And just when it couldn't get messier, Monique says Tyler Perry pulled her aside during the Precious promo tour, called her into a private room with staff all around. She wasn't playing, so she brought her security with her. And according to her, as soon as Perry shut the door, his own team scattered like they already knew how things usually go down. That moment, it wasn't just shady, it was terrifying. And it confirmed exactly what Monique and Lady Gabrielle had been saying all along. In certain Hollywood circles, power protects power, no matter the cost. Monique says Tyler Perry tried to pressure her into doing international press for free. He dangled a promise of a $3 to $8 million future payday if she'd just fall in line. But when she stood her ground and said no, Perry backed off, only to later join the Whisper campaign that dragged her name through the mud anyway. And the shade didn't stop there. Monique revealed that even Reggie Wells, Oprah's former makeup artist, overheard Oprah say she'd never pay Monique a dime, even though she knew Monique deserved it. That cut deep. It wasn't just a paycheck being denied, it was respect being stripped away, plain and simple. But Monique's not out here asking for sympathy. She wants something bigger, accountability. She's been clear. She wants Oprah and Perry to say out loud what they already said behind closed doors, that they were wrong, that they lied, and that their choices cost her millions. And if they really want to make it right, then they need to say it on the same big stage they used to ruin her name. But so far, nothing. Perry's still silent. Oprah, silent too. And Monique, she's still speaking loud and clear. Because if they could do this to her, a woman with an Oscar in her hand and talent no one can deny, who else were they doing it to? Gabrielle Union had been trying to warn folks about this for years, not with drama or wild accusations, but with quiet, firm truth. She kept pointing to the cracks in the system, calling out the cold control and fake loyalty behind the scenes. Hollywood's power structure didn't just gatekeep careers, it kept people silent, it demanded trust, and it used control like a weapon. Then everything came crashing down. In June 2025, the industry got rocked when actor Derek Dixon filed a jaw-dropping $260 million lawsuit against Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry Studios. The allegations, horrific. According to the court docs, it all started in 2019, when Perry allegedly first noticed Dixon at an event. From there, things spiraled into claims of harassment, coercion, and a toxic workplace that pushed boundaries too far. For most, it was shocking, but for the ones who'd been paying attention, it wasn't all that surprising.
Actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry sued for $260 million over harassment allegations. The complaint filed in Los Angeles accuses Perry of creating a, quote, coercive, exploitative dynamic with actor Derek Dixon.
The red flags had been waving for years. Derek Dixon says it all began with what looked like a regular Hollywood invite, mentorship. Tyler Perry allegedly brought him to his Atlanta mansion under the promise of career guidance. But once inside, things took a dark turn. Dixon claims he drank too much and blacked out, only to wake up and find Perry touching him inappropriately. He didn't go to the police, he didn't speak out. Why? Because he was new, scared, and just trying to survive in an industry where speaking up can get you blacklisted overnight. But the story didn't end there.
He was asleep. Perry climbed into bed with him and tried to initiate Dixon says he tried to distance himself from Perry, but he was offered a role on Perry's show, The Oval.
According to court documents, there's receipts. Screenshots show alleged text messages from Perry, and they're explicit. One message read, "What's it going to take for you to have guiltless intimacy?" Have y'all found that yet in therapy? Another pushed the line even further. "I would hope that you would let someone hold you and make love to you. You are missing the best years of your life, my friend. Trust me." Then came the real pressure. Another alleged message from Perry warned Dixon to keep quiet. "If you let the cast know that you and I have a new friendship, then you are opening yourself up to a lot of questions and foolishness. You earned your spot like everyone else. Don't give people an opportunity to play you small, or they will." That wasn't mentorship. That was manipulation, plain and dangerous, wrapped in promises laced with control. Dixon says he kept quiet. He tried to focus on the work, even as he took on roles in Perry shows like The Oval and Ruthless. But the messages didn't stop, and the behavior allegedly got worse. Then, in 2021, it crossed a terrifying line. Dixon claims Perry entered his guest house, pulled down his underwear, and whispered, "Relax, and just let it happen." That was it. That was the moment he knew he had to leave, no matter the risk. By June 2024, he filed a complaint with the EEOC. A year later, in 2025, he filed a $260 million lawsuit. And suddenly, all those things Gabrielle Union had been saying about power, control, and the quiet manipulation happening behind the scenes weren't just warnings anymore. They sounded like prophecies. Gabrielle tried to tell us. She spoke up about how the powerful rewrite narratives, hide behind status, and control others with silence. And now, with Dixon's case, that dark undercurrent she'd been hinting at, it's crashing into the spotlight. Derek Dixon's lawsuit isn't just about what happened behind closed doors. It's about the system that let it all happen in plain sight. The same system Gabrielle Union walked away from before it could happen to her. And now, nobody's laughing. Nobody's calling her difficult. They're just trying to catch up to what she saw years ago. Gabrielle didn't just deal with being sidelined. She watched her peers get mistreated, watched reputations get crushed, and watched how the powerful moved when no one was looking. She didn't go on some loud rant. She didn't drag names across headlines. She just stepped back, kept her peace, and let the truth speak on its own. And now, that truth is screaming. Derek Dixon's $260 million lawsuit didn't just shake the industry, it confirmed what a lot of folks had already been whispering. His accusations against Tyler Perry weren't just disturbing. They lined up with everything Gabrielle had been pointing to for years. Christian Keys tried to warn people in his own way, dropping that now infamous video filled with veiled hints. Brandon J.J. came forward with his own TikTok story about last-minute character changes and pressure on set. And Tiffany Haddish, she had a public breakdown when she was left high and dry by the same Hollywood family that once embraced her. All these stories, they tell the same story Gabrielle Union was trying to explain. The power game in Hollywood is rigged. She tried to say, it's not just about talent, it's about silence. She called out the fake praise, the performative support, and how some Black creators were being lifted up in public while quietly mistreating the very people who helped build their empires. Gabrielle dared to talk about money, about how Black women were being paid less than everyone else. She talked about favoritism. She talked about how dangerous it was to set boundaries in an industry where your career depends on keeping quiet. And what did she get for that honesty? A label. Difficult. Suddenly the offers slowed down. The invites stopped. Relationships turned cold. People backed away. That's the cost. That's the price women like Gabrielle paid just for telling the truth, especially Black women in Hollywood. While Tyler Perry was getting flowers for his billion-dollar studio and Oprah stayed positioned as the queen of empowerment, Gabrielle Union was quietly being shut out. But here's the real truth. Gabrielle Union was never bitter. She was just done playing a game that was rigged from the jump. She didn't want power if it meant staying silent while others got hurt. She didn't want a spotlight if it meant lying to the young women watching her, thinking this was what success looked like. She saw the truth early, and instead of clinging to a seat at a broken table, she chose to build something better for herself and for every woman coming up behind her. Gabrielle didn't just walk away, She redefined what it means to win. She started having real conversations, the kind most people were too scared to even whisper. She helped younger actresses read between the lines of shady contracts. She shared what actually goes down in those glamorous rooms. She stood by Monique when the whole industry turned its back. She didn't need to expose people by name. She just laid out the facts, and the truth exposed itself. And now, in 2025, nobody's questioning Gabrielle Union's credibility. Not after the lawsuits, not after the leaked texts, not after people finally started seeing behind the curtain and realizing that some of the most praised names in Hollywood weren't heroes after all. Gabrielle Union understood the rules of the game. She just decided she wasn't going to lose herself trying to win it. Because she chose to walk away, others are finally waking up and seeing the system for what it really is. Not just broken, but built to protect the wrong people. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video, and drop a comment below. Let us know your thoughts because these conversations matter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
No longer allowed to act because you did that one so well that we can't see you as something else.
They have some issue back in the day? And does he need a career revamp?
And typecasted to the point where it's almost impossible for people to see me doing something else.
Alfonso Ribeiro just dropped the bomb on what really went down with Tyler Perry, and he's not the only one talking.
He showed up to my apartment and offered me 100 grand to take my clothes off. He said, I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you.
For over 15 years, people were scratching their heads, wondering why Alfonso, with all his talent and TV fame, never popped up in a Tyler Perry movie or show. No cameo, no guest spot, nothing. It was weird, right? Now, new whispers about Perry are starting to bubble up again, and Alfonso's silence back then is finally making sense.
Actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry sued for $260 million over allegations. The complaint filed in Los Angeles accuses Perry of creating a, quote, coercive, exploitative dynamic with actor Derek Dixon.
Alfonso never came out and pointed fingers directly at Perry, but if you line up the comments he made years ago with what other actors are spilling now, it all starts to paint a different picture. Silence doesn't always mean nothing happened. Sometimes it means you were shut down before you could ever speak. So what was Alfonso really saying before the memes, before the reruns, and way before these new allegations started popping up? Back then, Alfonso Ribeiro was everywhere, lighting up America's screens as Carlton Banks on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He wasn't just the funny sidekick, he was the show's comedic anchor, with that sharp timing and the Carlton dance that turned into a whole cultural wave.
It's not unusual to be alone.
But when the show wrapped in 1996, so did Alfonso's momentum. Hollywood didn't want him as anything but Carlton. Offers dried up and directors only saw him as the preppy, goofy guy, not as a serious actor who could lead a movie or take on bigger roles. It was rough, and Alfonso, still in his 20s, was left hustling to revive a career that stalled the minute his most famous role ended.
The problem for me has always been that in terms of acting, most of the world can't get past Carlton.
On top of that, he was grinding through this dry spell during the early 2000s, a messy time in Hollywood when the industry was shifting, but not always in a fair way. Big studios wanted shiny new faces and were chasing trends instead of respecting talent and legacy. Behind the scenes, whispers about gatekeepers locking doors in Hollywood were getting louder. And that's exactly where Tyler Perry enters the story. People close to Alfonso say that around the mid to late 2000s, he tried to link up with the rising black entertainment wave, eyeing Tyler Perry Studios as his shot to flip the script on his career. At that time, Perry was blowing up, stacking box office hits, locking in loyal fans, buying his own Atlanta studio, and flexing more creative power than nearly anyone in black TV. For Alfonso, who was getting iced out in Hollywood and hungry for a rebrand, Perry's empire looked like the golden ticket. But that connection, it never happened. And for years, nobody really got why. Alfonso didn't drop Perry's name, but people who were paying close attention, especially after Christian Keys shared leaked texts showing S propositions tied to getting cast and staying cast, started connecting dots. The timing was way too sharp to ignore. Alfonso had nothing left to gain by keeping quiet, and as more folks began to speak up about coercion, getting blackballed, and shady power plays, Alfonso's old cryptic posts started looking like straight-up warnings. So what really went down between Alfonso and Perry? This time, Alfonso isn't holding back. By the late 2000s, Tyler Perry wasn't just another filmmaker. He was an institution. He had BT shows dominating screens, a multi-million-dollar studio built on old Confederate land, and a grip on Black Hollywood that made him the gatekeeper for actors who felt shut out by the mainstream machine. But with all that power came questions, and the whispers turned into real conversations. Alfonso, who once ruled primetime TV, reportedly tried to step into Perry's circle during this time, looking to reinvent himself and land roles that would prove he was more than just Carlton. On paper, it looked like a perfect match. Perry was known for giving people second chances, and Alfonso was ready to work. But insiders claim Perry's casting couch wasn't always about who had the most talent. Behind closed doors, it was a different game, and not everyone was willing to play it. In 2021, actor Christian Keys dropped a bomb when he publicly revealed he got propositioned inappropriately in exchange for roles.
That he showed up to my apartment and offered me 100 grand to take my clothes off. He said, I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you.
That shook the table. Around this same time, people noticed Alfonso's social media vibes started to shift. His posts got sharper, and his words turned cryptic, leaving fans guessing what was really going on. In one now-deleted post, he wrote, "Sometimes the audition is just a setup. Be careful who's really watching." In another, he said, "I didn't come this far to sell my dignity." He didn't name names. But after Christian Keys' revelations, folks started wondering if Alfonso got approached in the same dirty way and chose to walk away instead. Tyler Perry's supporters say his success turned him into an easy target. They claim actors mad about being overlooked or just looking for someone to blame. But others are pointing out the obvious pattern. Multiple young, attractive male actors stepping forward with stories that sound way too similar, talking about being pressured or iced out after rejecting alleged advances tied to getting cast.
These events occurred while Mr. Dixon was employed as a series regular on the Tyler Perry show, The Oval, while Mr. Perry held direct control over his employment, compensation, and creative opportunity.
If even a piece of this toxic culture was happening at Perry's studio, it flips the whole narrative. And for someone like Alfonso, who spent years protecting his clean, family-friendly image, compromising his dignity for a role would have been a hard no. That could be why we never saw Alfonso popping up on a Tyler Perry show or grabbing a guest role, even though he was a household name from Fresh Prince. Meanwhile, lesser-known actors were sliding into those roles while he stayed on the sidelines. Sometimes not getting the job is the biggest sign you passed the real test, one that had nothing to do with acting and everything to do with keeping your integrity intact. As fresh details from the current lawsuit keep dropping, it's looking like Alfonso saw the game for what it really was way before the public did. On June 15th, 2025, actor Derek Dixon filed a bombshell lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court, accusing Tyler Perry of multiple acts of misconduct. The lawsuit is demanding a jaw-dropping $260 million in damages and lays out a disturbing pattern of alleged behavior that stretches from 2019 to 2021, with the fallout bleeding into 2024. In an industry already rocked by big cases like Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey, this lawsuit hits different because it's targeting one of the most powerful and untouchable black moguls in the game. According to court filings, Perry and Dixon first crossed paths in 2019 at an industry event. At the time, Dixon was just starting out, a fresh face with no major credits under his belt. Documents say Perry came up to Dixon himself, asking for his number and telling him he wanted to help him get an acting shot. Mr. Perry handpicked Mr. Dixon from a crowd, the complaint reads, saying Perry told him he saw potential. Not long after, Dixon claims Perry cast him in Ruthless, but it was during or right after working on Ruthless that things allegedly took a dark turn. The complaint paints a picture of Perry initiating what Dixon describes as a coercive, one-sided relationship hiding behind the mask of mentorship. According to Dixon, when Ruthless rapped, Perry invited him to his personal home in Atlanta, and that night, Dixon ended up getting intoxicated. Dixon says he asked if he could crash in a guest room, but what happened next is chilling. The lawsuit claims Mr. Perry followed Mr. Dixon into the guest room and began touching his thighs. Dixon says he rejected Perry's advances, but the unwanted interest didn't stop.
Then he claims that while he was asleep, Perry climbed into bed with him and tried to initiate. Dixon says he tried to distance himself from Perry, but he was offered a role on Perry's show, The Oval.
This, according to Dixon, was the first time Perry allegedly crossed physical boundaries, and he believes it set the stage for everything that followed. By the time Dixon landed a role in The Oval, Perry's high-profile BET drama, things allegedly escalated even further. Behind the glitz of the studio lights, the red carpets, and the second chance promises, these allegations are pulling back the curtain on what might really be happening behind closed doors. Dixon landed the role of Dale on The Oval, but what happened behind the scenes is what's turning heads. According to the lawsuit, Perry started sending suggestive texts and making flirtatious calls to Dixon, pushing personal questions about his preferences and fantasies. These alleged texts, with screenshots spreading across X and popping up in reports from Reuters, the Associated Press, and TMZ, have turned this already explosive case into a social media firestorm. But here's the catch. Text can be faked, edited, or ripped out of context. Reuters reported that some of these messages were included in the official legal filings, adding weight to the claims. One message allegedly read, "What's it going to take for you to have guiltless S? If real." That line would back up Dixon's claims of coercion. The Associated Press also cited messages where Perry allegedly told Dixon, "No straight man would be going on walks with you or cooking dinner for you unless they wanted to F you. I would F you." Another message reportedly said, "I would hope that you would let someone hold you and make love to you. You are missing the best years of your life, my friend." TMZ published more screenshots circulating on X, including one that read, "I feel so good, but I don't like being horny. I feel sorry for the first person that flirts with me." These messages, while not independently verified, paint a picture of an escalating interest that was blurring every professional boundary. They match up with what Dixon is claiming in his lawsuit, that what started as mentorship quickly flipped into manipulation and pressure, turning opportunity into a toxic power play. Social media has exploded with polarized reactions. Some users think these texts are damning, while others question if they're even real. But no matter what side people are on, the court filings keep pulling the spotlight back to the allegations. Back to the court documents, things get even darker. In March 2020, Perry allegedly choked Dixon during a private altercation.
This is what he says that Perry told him. Dixon said that Perry told him, quote, that he liked being choked. That was after Dixon's character was choked by a cast member in a scene on The Oval. Perry also allegedly said, "Why do you twist your hips when you walk? How can I get a day of Dixon?"
Later that year, another incident allegedly happened on the Oval set, where Perry is accused of entering a trailer and groping Dixon. The most shocking allegation dropped in June 2021, and it's the one people can't stop talking about. Dixon says he got invited back to Perry's Atlanta home, and while staying in the guest house, dressed only in his underwear, Perry came into his room to say goodnight. According to Dixon, that's when Perry hugged him, pulled down his underwear, grabbed his backside, and told him to just relax. Dixon claims he tried to defuse the situation by switching the topic, but by then he felt trapped with nowhere to run. The lawsuit says Perry made it crystal clear, ignoring him would cost Dixon everything. According to Dixon, Perry straight up said, "If you ignore me, your character dies." That's heavy. The lawsuit also says Perry dangled potential projects like bait, using them as leverage. Specifically, Dixon claims Perry offered to help produce a TV series he had written called Losing It. Perry allegedly showed interest in funding the pilot, but only if Dixon remained loyal. Dixon now says it was never a real opportunity, just another manipulative tactic to keep him quiet. Mr. Perry sought the one thing his wealth and influence could not purchase: a relationship with a man who would remain silent, the lawsuit reads. That line alone has people rethinking everything. Dixon says he finally filed a formal complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission in June 2024, claiming he was diagnosed with PTSD from Perry's actions and eventually had to leave the Oval because the emotional and psychological toll was too much to handle. The lawsuit doesn't stop at Perry alone. Dixon is also going after Tyler Perry Studios and TPS Production Services as co-defendants, accusing them of negligent hiring, supervision, and retention. While Perry himself is the only one accused of the physical and verbal abuse, the complaint makes it clear that the system around him enabled this behavior. In one of the most cutting lines of the entire complaint, the case paints Perry not just as a powerful mogul, but as a man who allegedly used his power to manipulate, corner, and silence those who trusted him. Dixon isn't holding back, comparing Tyler Perry to other fallen giants in entertainment like Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Sean Diddy Combs, Kevin Spacey, Roger Ailes, and others who fell from power hard. The complaint states Mr. Perry's success has led him to believe that money and influence can get him whatever he wants. But Tyler Perry's legal team came out swinging. His attorney, Matthew Boyd, dropped a public statement saying, "This is an individual who got close to Tyler Perry for what now appears to be nothing more than setting up a scam, but Tyler will not be shaken down, and we are confident these fabricated claims will fail." The pushback is loud, but so is the case. The lawsuit is now public, and unless it gets dismissed or settled behind closed doors, Perry might have to face these serious allegations in court for the first time in his career. That's huge. Meanwhile, it's been over a decade since Alfonso Ribeiro walked away from scripted TV. Fans always thought it was his choice, that he wanted a quieter family life, or just preferred hosting over risking another typecast role. But behind the polished game show smiles, something else was going on. Because in Hollywood, silence doesn't always mean safety. It can be a survival strategy. Alfonso isn't new to the politics of fame. After Fresh Prince, he got boxed in by a character the world loved, but the industry refused to see beyond. Carlton made him rich, but it also made him invisible when it came to serious roles. So when Alfonso started dipping back into the industry in the 2000s, he quickly learned talent alone wasn't enough to break back in. One of his close associates later hinted that Alfonso saw exactly what was going on behind certain studio doors and decided to walk away instead of getting pulled into something that would cost him more than it was worth. Sometimes, stepping back is the loudest move you can make in an industry that wants you silent. No messy headlines, no loud drama, just a quiet exit. But it's the why that matters here. The truth is, Alfonso likely stayed silent because he believed speaking out wouldn't help, or worse, it would blow back on him hard. By the 2010s, Tyler Perry wasn't just another Hollywood producer, he was untouchable. A billionaire backed by Oprah, BT, and every major network that mattered. Calling him out would have been career suicide, especially for someone already fighting to get back into the spotlight. And let's keep it real. Black actors in Hollywood don't always get to speak freely, especially when it comes to powerful black figures in the industry. The fear of being labeled difficult, bitter, or jealous is real. The fear of being erased completely, even worse. That's why Alfonso kept it coded. Cryptic tweets, half hints, quiet unfollows, and a silent refusal to collaborate. It was all there, but hidden in plain sight. For years, most people missed the message. But now that Christian Keys has dropped receipts, and now that Derek Dixon has filed a $260 million lawsuit accusing Perry of harassment and professional coercion, Alfonso's silence doesn't look like indifference anymore. It looks like restraint, and maybe even self-preservation.
Dixon is suing Tyler Perry, the individual, as well as his production studio. That studio is called TPS Production Services, LLC. That stands for Tyler Perry Studios in Action, LLC. And he is looking for $260 million.
In this new light, Alfonso's choice not to work with Perry doesn't look like a missed bag. It looks like a quiet act of resistance. He may not have aired out the details, but 15 years later, his decision to stay away stands as its own testimony. And now people can't help but wonder, how many other actors walked away quietly too? How many stayed silent because they never felt safe enough to say why. This isn't just about one man's career anymore. It's about the hidden stories in Hollywood nobody wanted to hear until now. When actors like Alfonso Ribeiro drop indirect hints, Hollywood listens, but it listens quietly. But when someone like Christian Keys steps up and speaks directly, the mask starts to slip off. That's exactly what happened in 2021 when Keys went public about the casting couch culture creeping behind some of Tyler Perry's productions. He didn't sugarcoat a thing, and his confession hit the industry like a lightning bolt. Keys' leaks and references to coercion lined up disturbingly well with Alfonso's old cryptic posts. And suddenly, all those quiet warnings about getting boxed out, turned away, or punished for not playing the game took on a whole new, darker meaning. Alfonso and Christian are two very different actors, but their timelines crossed in the mid-2000s when both were trying to get back into acting. Both were black men trying to work with a studio that claimed to uplift them, and both, in their own way, ended up walking away quietly. And now with Derek Dixon's explosive $260 million lawsuit, another layer has been peeled back. These stories aren't just random incidents. Together, they reveal a pattern. Young black male actors stepping into rooms looking for opportunity, only to find boundaries they weren't willing to cross. This isn't about a single text or one awkward conversation. It's about the cumulative pressure, the jokes that weren't really jokes, the suggestions that weren't really suggestions. These weren't innocent misunderstandings. They were power moves dressed up as kindness. And for actors like Alfonso Ribeiro, the most chilling part might not be what happened, but what didn't happen. Because sometimes the roles you don't get and the doors that stay closed say more about what's really going on than any headline ever could. No Tyler Perry role, no guest spots, not even a single cameo in a system that claimed to uplift black talent. That absence, looking back now, speaks volumes. When you line it up with Christian Keys rejecting Perry's alleged advances, or with the chilling claims now pouring out in lawsuits, a bigger picture starts to form, and it makes Alfonso's long silence look not just reasonable, but strategic. Maybe that's why Alfonso is finally speaking now. Not through a messy press conference, not in a clickbait expose, but by letting people connect the dots he's been quietly dropping for over a decade. What looked like bitterness now feels like boundaries. What felt like distance now looks like protection. And what once read as silence is starting to sound a whole lot like survival. Alfonso didn't give us a viral headline. He didn't name drop in some wild tell-all interview, but maybe he didn't need to. Because in an industry where silence is often seen as weakness, his quiet refusal to play the game might have been the strongest move of all. While others chased the spotlight, Alfonso walked away from something millions of actors would give anything for, all because of what he likely saw behind the curtain. He was never loud, never messy, but the choices he made, the rooms he avoided, and the small things he did say tell a story. A story about boundaries, about dignity over deals. And now, with lawsuits stacking up and testimonies from once silent actors finally surfacing, Alfonso's past choices don't look like career detours anymore. They look like warnings we all missed. Because when the truth starts spilling out, the people who walked away quietly are often the ones we should have listened to from the start. If you found this deep dive eye-opening, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video with someone who needs to see it, and comment your thoughts below. Let us know. Do you think Alfonso was protecting himself all these years? We read every comment. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Went to go see Tyler, right?
Right.
This layout, he's probably not probably. He's about 10 years ahead of her.
Atlanta filmmaker Tyler Perry is facing a $260 million lawsuit filed by actor Derek Dixon.
But you Tyler Perry, and you never told anyone too.
Looks like 50 Cent is putting Tyler Perry on blast amid a lawsuit shaking Hollywood to its core. Word on the street is Perry's sweating bullets behind the scenes, and 50 says he knows exactly why.
Also didn't participate. I also didn't go to the parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participate.
I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parks. You're not hearing much from other celeb coaches because Josh say he is in trouble since a bunch of them allegedly got involved.
Out him when Tyler Perry went out to clubs and partied with friends and went and participated in the gay lifestyle like everybody else. Tyler Perry's probably been gay since he was a little kid.
Sources claim this lawsuit could wreck Tyler Perry's empire, just like Diddy's scandal turned his world upside down. And it's just getting started. More alleged victims might step up, and Perry's team is scrambling hard to keep the damage under wraps. So what's 50 Cent actually saying? Is Tyler Perry about to get hit with a major takedown? Let's get into it. When 50 Cent talks, the industry stops to listen, and now he's got his eyes locked on Tyler Perry, who's caught up in a lawsuit that could tear down everything he's worked for.
The lawsuit also includes screenshots of texts Dixon says he received from Perry that included advances.
As those shocking claims about Perry started making waves, 50 didn't waste a second before throwing in his 2 cents, and let's be real. It felt less like a playful jab and more like a direct warning. 50's known for calling out big names in the industry without fear, but this call out on Tyler Perry, it's hitting different. 50 Cent even took it to Instagram, clowning Tyler Perry with an AI-generated pic of them together, captioning it, "Did that B just say what?" I think he said, "Nah, we ain't jacking this S gang." It's clear 50 is letting everyone know he's watching, and Tyler might need to watch his back. No way! Just hours later, 50 Cent dropped another post, this time flexing an AI-generated image of Cat Williams with the caption, "Tyler, that case B's. Don't worry about that. Worry about this ninja here." 50 added, "He gonna have a field day with this SLOL." As caught by all hip-hop, and you already know it's about to get messy. It's not even the first time 50's clowned Tyler Perry on social media. Earlier this month, 50 was actually defending Tyler, posting, "Hey, I think anyone who talks bad about Tyler Perry should die. I mean, we are all gonna die, but you should die now," on Instagram. But it looks like things flipped real quick because Tyler Perry has been drowning in controversy lately. Artists have started coming forward saying Tyler Perry might not be the champion for black artists that he claims to be. And now it just got way more serious. Tyler Perry is facing a massive lawsuit from actor Derek Dixon, who's suing him for a jaw-dropping $260 million. According to court docs filed on Friday, June 13th in Los Angeles and shared by People, Dixon claims he was assaulted while working on Perry's shows, The Oval and Ruthless.
Filed lawsuit accuses Tyler Perry of assaulting an actor on one of the filmmaker's shows. Actor Derek Dixon has sued Perry for $260 million.
Dixon, who played a character named Dale on both shows, says things started off smooth. Perry was giving him acting gigs and even promised to help produce his pilot. But Dixon says everything flipped when he didn't return Perry's romantic interest. He claims Perry started pressuring him, getting controlling, and later messed up his career after Dixon rejected him.
Tyler Perry has been hit with a huge lawsuit from an actor by the name of Derek Dixon.
Tyler Perry's lawyer, Matthew Boyd, is calling this lawsuit a straight-up setup. Speaking to People, Boyd said, "This is someone who got close to Tyler Perry just to run a scam." He added that Tyler won't be bullied, and they believe these false claims won't stand. Meanwhile, Dixon says Perry kept hitting him up for months, sometimes flirting, other times promising to help him get work and flip his life around. In November 2019, Perry gave Dixon a small role on Ruthless, and by January 20th, 2020, Dixon claims Perry ted him at his home. Just a month later, Perry offered him a regular role on The Oval, but Dixon says he got suspicious when he read his script for the character Dale, noticing the ending was left wide open. His future on the show wasn't secure. According to the lawsuit, Perry allegedly told him that if he didn't flirt back or play along, his character would get killed off. And that's exactly what Dixon says went down. By the end of season 1, Dale's character got shot 4 times in the chest. Dixon believes this was Perry sending a warning shot and thinks the character might have survived if he had kept Perry happy. After filming a scene, Dixon says Tyler Perry invited him into his trailer, and once inside, Perry allegedly pinned him against the wall and groped him. Dixon also claims another incident happened in October 2020 during a cast trip to the Bahamas, where Perry allegedly groped him again. By December, Dixon says he was a mess, and a doctor told him he was dealing with severe stress. He couldn't sleep, was having stomach issues, and his cortisol levels were dangerously low. The doctor ended up putting Dixon on Zoloft for anxiety and depression after all this madness. In June 2021, Perry reportedly invited Dixon over, saying he wanted to talk about Dixon's pilot show, Losing It, which Perry once showed interest in producing. But according to Dixon, he was A again.
Says Perry sexually assaulted him at Perry's Atlanta home in January of 2020.
During that visit, over the next 5 months after the alleged incidents, Dixon says he was battling heavy depression, anxiety, stomach pain, and constant nausea. Things got so bad he was later diagnosed with PTSD. During this time, Dixon claims people close to Perry, who he calls fixers in the lawsuit, tried to keep him quiet by offering him a raise to stay on the Oval. They even promised that Perry would buy the rights to produce Losing It. But in January 2023, Dixon says he told Perry he was moving to California to put distance between them. He kept working on the Oval for a bit, but eventually bounced during the final season. Dixon says walking away cost him nearly $400,000 in potential income. Now, Dixon is taking it to court, suing Tyler Perry for multiple serious charges, demanding a jury trial and a whopping $260 million in damages. This lawsuit is about to blow up, and 50 Cent just dropped a bomb on Tyler that's got the whole industry buzzing. After a fiery comment that shook Hollywood, 50 Cent made it crystal clear he's done with Tyler Perry for good.
Do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it.
And let's be real, 50 has been throwing shots at Diddy for years, and a lot of people believe 50's got real insider knowledge. Hollywood's smaller than it looks. And when you start looking at who's running the game, Diddy and Tyler Perry, they're a lot closer than people think. We've all heard the whispers about secret business ties and hush-hush partnerships, but what if there's way more to it? What if Tyler Perry hasn't just been sitting on the sidelines? What if he's been deep in Diddy's world this whole time, pulling strings and staying protected in the shadows while everyone looked the other way? And let's be clear, 50 Cent isn't just out here chasing clout. He's turned into one of the most powerful voices in the industry, and everything he does is calculated and strategic. If he's aiming at Perry now, it's not random, it's personal, it's deep, and it's real. With everything blowing up in Hollywood right now, 50 Cent might be the only one bold enough to step up, speak out, and hold these power players accountable. He's starting to look less like the troublemaker they painted him as, and more like the last line of defense for the black community in an industry drowning in secrets.
Making television shows for just black households.
Right.
You know, the diversity, I don't think diversity is black. Some people interpret you saying diversity as if it's black. I think it's showing, you know.
Let's talk facts. 50 Cent has already passed the level Tyler Perry was chasing. While Perry made his name with Medea and those safe family movies, 50's been out here building something real with Power and other shows that actually connect with real people. While Perry was out in Hollywood playing it safe and staying close to the big names, 50 was grinding in the trenches, exposing fake behavior and building his empire brick by brick. He's not just making shows. He's making a statement, and every move he makes is shaking up the game. And let's be real, 50 isn't scared of any of these industry giants. He's proving that you can build your own lane, call out the fake, and still come out on top. 50 Cent has been calling out Diddy's shady sideway before anyone else had the guts to speak up. So it's no shock he's got something to say about Tyler Perry now. These connections run deep, and 50 knows exactly what's going on behind the scenes. With Diddy and Perry so tangled up in business deals, 50 is probably sitting on some spicy info that could flip the way people see both of these moguls. Don't forget, 50 has never been shy about clowning Diddy's legal troubles. He once shared a screenshot of Sean's sons, Justin and King Combs, getting escorted out of Diddy's LA mansion in handcuffs. 50 captioned it, "It's just got real, the feds in all the cribs. Damn, they got the kids in cuffs." In another post showing the feds outside Diddy's home, 50 didn't hold back, saying, "Now it's not did he do it, it's did he done? They don't come like that unless they got a case." It's clear 50 is using every chance to comment on Diddy's mess, adding more heat to their ongoing feud. In a now-deleted Instagram post, the G-Unit boss and TV heavyweight hinted that Diddy's problems were far from over, writing, "LOL, he paid that money real quick. Should have done that before the sharks saw the blood in the water. And here they come in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, every woman he put his hand on." Before all this, 50, known for his non-stop jabs at Diddy, even took it to Twitter, throwing more shots at the bad boy mogul. While Diddy was out here trying to protect his image, 50 was cracking jokes and pulling receipts, letting everyone know he's not scared to air out the truth. 50's not just talking to stir drama, he's making it clear he's watching these industry giants, and he's ready to expose what's really going down behind those fancy gates. Damn, brother love, brother love, brother love, you out here looking crazy as an MFL. LMAO. 50 Cent captioned the photo. But here's what's wild. Every time Diddy's name pops up tied to shady dealings with artists, Tyler Perry's name somehow ain't far behind.
Yeah, we riding around this Tyler Perry studio. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Like, I never even seen nothing like this.
Now, rumors are swirling that Tyler Perry is being linked to Diddy as one of his alleged handlers in those rumored secret ritual circles, throwing Perry right into the middle of a growing storm. For years, people have whispered about weird, shady stuff happening behind closed doors in Hollywood, but seeing Perry's name tied to Diddy like this is shocking a lot of folks. Tyler Perry, who built his empire on family-friendly films and runs one of the biggest black-owned studios in the country, is now facing heavy allegations that don't match his clean public image. And to make things even messier, actor Terry Crews, who's never scared to speak out, is starting to shine a light on Perry's long-standing connections to Hollywood's darker side. He's connected to probably everyone I know in the business, Crews revealed. I did not know this man. I never had a conversation with him ever. Crews is hinting that the image Tyler Perry's been pushing for years might not match what's really been going down behind the scenes. When you start looking closer at Diddy's private parties, things start to look mad strange. And what's even more interesting, 50 Cent has been keeping his distance from all this mess while dropping hints left and right. At one point, 50 even posted a photo making it look like Diddy was hiding his location on purpose. 50's playing it smart, watching from the sidelines, collecting receipts, and letting everyone else expose themselves while he waits for the perfect moment to speak on it. 50 Cent once shared a photo of Diddy and Rick Ross performing, but the angle made it look like they were about to kiss. It was weird, no lie. In another post, 50 shared a pic of Diddy rocking a pink t-shirt while hugging another man in pink, and the pose had folks raising eyebrows. 50 captioned it with something like, "If it ain't making me money, better, or happy, I'm not wasting my time on it." But that's not where it stops. Quiet rumors have been swirling for a while now, claiming Diddy has been targeting young male rappers and pushing people in his circle to take part in shady, uncomfortable situations.
Oh, okay. You're telling me we got to kick in this shit, and he's like, yo, why don't we like go shopping or some shit? I mean, like, I pay for it. And I was like, what the fuck this nigga just said? I got the fuck away from him.
People are saying Diddy is an odd creature, and unusual stuff seems to excite him. From his past incidents, it's clear his favorite way of luring male rappers is by inviting them on shopping trips, using shopping as a subtle signal that he finds them attractive.
He said it to me one time, a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what the f?
So guess what? 50 Cent was shook when Diddy asked him to go shopping. But 50 is built different. He's a man of nerves, and he can't be lured that easily. In the end, 50 managed to escape the scene, and you already know he's never been the type to fold under pressure. While 50 Cent couldn't be caught slipping at Diddy's parties, there are others who are way more open than him. Tyler Perry has been spotted with Diddy plenty of times, at events, award shows, and yes, even at those parties. And you know what that means?
Man, but him saying that them putting him on suicide watch, I could see that, man, but that ain't a good situation for nobody. You see what happened to Jeffrey Epstein?
It's been reported that folks like Tyler Perry are feeling real nervous about Diddy's recent legal troubles, scared it might open up a can of worms after his arrest. If those worms come crawling out, it could expose a whole lineup of big names that have been moving in silence for years. Word on the street is Tyler Perry is feeling real shook about Diddy's legal mess, worried it could open up a can of worms after Diddy's arrest. Diddy, who's been known to throw wild parties with celebs like Usher and Justin Bieber, now has a bunch of high-profile actors and musicians sweating bullets. Sources close to the scene say Diddy partied with a whole crew of famous faces over the years, and they love getting lit at his lavish events all over the globe. Sometimes Diddy would even get his face printed on fake dollar bills and make it rain on his guests while models, handpicked for the parties, danced around. Now here's where it gets even messier. Rumors started flying about Tyler Perry being linked to some shady human trafficking circles, and conveniently, that's right when he popped up in a PSA talking about it. The timing's a little too perfect, don't you think?
Human trafficking is a crime often hidden in plain sight. We like to think that it only happens in other places and only affects other people, but sadly it's happening right here in our backyard in Georgia.
In the PSA, the Madea star said, many victims are being teed by people that they trust, and stressed the importance of knowing the warning signs and how to report suspicious activity because it can save someone's life, Perry added. But people are starting to connect the dots. They're realizing Diddy and Tyler Perry are both sharp businessmen, and rumors say that whenever Diddy needed certain women at his events, Tyler was the one helping to make it happen behind the scenes. And it doesn't stop there. Word is, there's actually video footage from one of Diddy's wild parties that could drag Tyler Perry right into the center of this growing scandal. If that footage ever leaks, it could blow the lid off everything these two have been trying to keep quiet for years. Tyler Perry's been trying to play it cool, probably hoping all this would just fade away. But now, with Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, hinting that some serious dirt is about to drop, it's looking like Tyler won't be able to slip away from this storm so easily.
But all this is bigger than Diddy. It's bigger than Diddy, bro. Cause you know who else they was doing investigation?
You gotta wonder, what's really on those tapes? Could Tyler, the so-called handler, end up getting thrown under the bus while Diddy scrambles to save himself?
He gotta put something together real soon because they not playing with him. He has to put something together real soon and say, yo, listen to me. I know this, I know that. It's way bigger than Diddy.
The streets are talking. If Hollywood is starting to turn its back on Tyler Perry, it's really not that shocking. His name keeps popping up in shady conversations, and let's keep it real. Hollywood's shiny mask has been cracking for a while now. With these allegations spilling out, some actresses are finally asking the real questions. Like, why work with someone who might be tied up in something this messy? Especially when the whispers say he wasn't just watching from the sidelines. He might have actually played a part in it all. Not a good look, Tyler. Not at all. And don't forget, Tyler Perry is no stranger to controversy. His treatment of Monique might just be the tip of the iceberg, and it's got actresses running for the hills. You might not believe it, but Tyler allegedly blackballed Monique from Hollywood.
I say it's blatantly unfair.
Leaving her career hanging. And you already know 50 Cent ain't here for that nonsense. 50 was straight up confused about why Monique was out of work for 13 years over something she said. He made it clear he's not going to sit around waiting for Hollywood to fix it.
But you Tyler Perry, and you never told anyone to.
50's determined to see Monique back on top, and he's ready to make it happen himself.
I was like, cancel, like Monique, why is she canceled?
While Tyler was busy cozying up to Hollywood's big names, 50's out here fighting to give Monique the shine she deserves.
And he was like, nah, I never told no one not to work with her. And I said, but you Tyler Perry, and you never told anyone to work.
And with everything blowing up, it's looking like 50's moves might expose even more of what's been hidden in Hollywood for way too long. 50 Cent, the candy shop rapper, announced he's done waiting and is taking matters into his own hands to bring Monique's career back. But before he made his move, he gave the big names a chance to do the right thing. He made it clear that Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry wouldn't want their influence to keep crushing a real one's career any longer. This has gone on for far too long, 50 wrote. Now would be the perfect time to apologize because I'm bringing her back. I don't miss. From the looks of it, Tyler Perry really had control over Monique's career because if he wanted, she could have been getting work in the industry. That's exactly what 50 pointed out, and honestly, it's starting to look that way for real. Tyler Perry's been a powerhouse in Hollywood for years, but the game is shifting, and 50 Cent is leading that change. He's calling out the fake, refusing to stay quiet, and standing on principles in an industry where integrity is rare. And let's be real, people are starting to trust 50's voice more than these Hollywood gatekeepers. If you found this video eye-opening, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and comment your thoughts below. Do you think Tyler Perry will finally speak up, or is 50 about to expose even more? Let me know what you think. Thanks for rocking with me, and I'll see you in the next one.
Don't ask me to do shit just to get, oh, she's a nice person to me, so nice and so sweet. That nice. I'm tired of being fucking nice to you, raggedy. I lost everything. All my gigs gone.
Really?
Everything gone.
But now that they've changed face, you know,
I
do you
don't
feel
know,
like
bro.
you regain your,
I don't have no job.
Tyler Perry's in hot water with legal trouble, and now Tiffany Haddish is stepping up, dropping some cryptic but bold hints about her own rocky history with him.
I wasn't in a union. It was a non-union film, so it's nothing I really could do about it. They never paid me. They never paid me a dime.
It doesn't feel random at all. It's like she's been holding back for years, and now she's ready to spill what really went down behind those closed doors in Hollywood.
Don't nobody want to work for free. I don't even ask people to work for free.
So what did Tiffany actually go through? Let's break it down. Lately, a bunch of Hollywood stars have started exposing powerful figures, and Tiffany's now joining them with some shocking claims about Tyler Perry. She's saying that what happened to her was personal, tied directly to her grind in Hollywood, and she points the finger at Perry for a lot of it.
It's real. Like,
Word is Tiffany has been letting people know about the side of Tyler Perry that most don't see behind the curtains. She talked about feeling betrayed by him and dropped truths that stayed hidden for way too long. Tiffany shared how Hollywood drained her, saying it cost her peace and even pieces of her soul. And on top of that, she faced being canceled, making everything 10 times worse.
I'm just tired of people playing with me.
I'm just tired of people playing with me, Tiffany shouted out during one of her talks. She went through a rough patch, especially with everything tied to Tyler Perry. And it gets even wilder when you find out how he treated her after she got hit with a heavy lawsuit a few years back. This was the case that accused her and Aries Spears of misconduct with 2 minors. But Tiffany's side of how Perry acted after that is what's shaking people up now. Tiffany says her whole world flipped upside down. She lost gigs, doors slammed shut, and to make it worse, Tyler Perry, someone she once called family, ghosted her when she needed him most. Known for her breakout in Girls Trip, Tiffany later told TMZ how deep the damage cut. And it wasn't just about losing work, it was about losing trust. The lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court claimed she and Aries Spears had GED and M2U age siblings. And even though Tiffany had already denied those accusations, the harm was done. What cut the deepest was seeing close allies like Perry turn cold so fast.
I lost everything. All my gigs gone.
Really?
Everything gone.
But now that they've changed face, you know,
I
do you
don't
feel
know,
like
bro.
you regain your,
I don't have no job.
In the middle of the chaos, Tyler Perry and his whole studio stayed quiet. Even when the accusations against Tiffany were proven false, Perry didn't step up to show support, not even once. This hit hard, especially considering how Tiffany always used her platform to lift others up, only to be left alone in the storm. Perry didn't say a word, and Tiffany was forced to face the heat alone. At the same time, Monique started speaking out even louder about Tyler Perry, calling him out for how he treats black actors in the industry. She said he uses them when it's good for him, then disappears when they need him. Monique didn't hold back during her comedy sets either, getting real about the tension she's had with Perry over the years. If you remember her powerhouse role in Lee Daniels' Precious back in 2010, Monique claims everything went downhill after that. According to Monique, what happened to Tiffany is just another example of how Perry allegedly flips on people who once trusted him. After that Oscar-winning role, Monique says her career got iced out. She's only been in 4 movies since, and she blames what she now calls white balling. By the same Hollywood circle that once hyped her up, she first spoke out back in 2015 about getting blackballed, and she stood on that truth ever since.
I was whiteballed. Who had no ball.
Monique kept dropping bombs during her Apollo set, saying the word blackballed doesn't even capture how twisted the situation really is. What is that black D connected to that black man? So no, I was not blackballed. I was whiteballed by some black D who have no balls, she said, letting it all out without holding back. She shouted, "Thank you, Mr. Lee Daniels. Thank you, Mr. Tyler Perry. Thank you, Miss Oprah Winfrey," letting the world know exactly who she's talking about. Monique clapped back at people saying, "Monique, you talk too much," saying it would be crazy for her to stay silent when she's not being paid equally or treated fairly. She even said, "You can suck my D if I had one," letting the crowd know she was done playing nice. Meanwhile, Tyler Perry, after his box office success, stepped into the TV world with House of Pain, which was a hit. But drama didn't stay away for long. During negotiations for a big syndication deal and a spin-off called Meet the Browns, controversy popped off. According to Deadline, Perry allegedly fired 4 writers who were fighting for union contracts, sparking a heated mess in the industry. Writer Terry Jackson aired out his frustration, saying, "We were good enough to create over 100 episodes, but now when it's time to get the benefits from syndication and spin-offs, he decides to drop us unless we take a horrible offer." It was a heavy accusation that had people
Wait, thank you.
Here's the twist. Perry, known for his family-friendly movies,